Okay, so let's go ahead and pop over to the head. You can see like last time I started by making a remesh. And I'm just kind of going to try to move it into position a bit. Use resim to make it symmetrical because I forgot to turn on symmetry. And now we're just going to go ahead and walk through each of these objects and just pull them out. Use extraction to pull them out. And so there we go. I'm going to group those loops. And then just use some clipping brushes to clean this up. I was kind of thinking for this, for the helmet here, I was kind of thinking like a crown of sorts. Like he has kind of a little royalty crown around his head. But I wanted it to be really subtle, so I made the protrusions kind of smaller. Alright, so I wanted to stamp this down a bit so I could see what was going on a little bit better. And pretty much the same process. I'm just going to go ahead and mask this off. You can see the neck area doesn't really have a lot of, it just looks like a neck essentially. A rather thick neck. And I'm going to go ahead and add a few details in there a little bit later during the detailing phase. But as it turns out, it's not even going to be visible. There's going to be so much going on within the neck area with a lot of tubing and various other things that you're not going to be able to see it. But it was good to add it just in case. Alright, so now I'm going to make this kind of horn thing, this rhino horn thing. So what I did was I hid a part of my template mesh, and then I just remeshed it so it would close itself. Because when you remesh something that has a hole in it, it'll close it. It'll bridge that geometry. And that's kind of why I wanted to use remesh, was so I didn't have a hole in my mesh. Because sometimes holes can be really annoying when it comes to smoothing. And they're just, they're quite hard to manipulate, so. Alright, so now I'm going to work on the visor right here. And I kind of wanted the visor, there's kind of two visors, one on each side. And what I wanted to do with it was kind of make it look like it would slide up into the rear in between the crown area and just the center of the head. So the guy can see. I mean, he can see anyways, like, this is a spacesuit from the future, so I'm sure he can see, but, so he can use his eyes, I guess. So I'm just going to go ahead and deform these and kind of move them into place and make them get along with each other. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make the mouthpiece. Alright, so I can just go ahead and extract it. And I accidentally had a bit of extra area mask there, so you can see I had some stray polygons there, but that's okay. They were easily deleted. I just want to make sure everything aligns really well. That's the main thing, really, is to get everything to get along, and to make it look like they get along really well, because that's what's going to be the biggest helper in terms of this whole illusion that we've been talking about of making it look like it actually has function. So I went ahead and hid a part of my concept mesh and made another remesh so I could have back polygons, and it wasn't a mesh with holes in it. And I'm just going to go ahead and make this this chin strap. Just used a lot of clipping here. Alrighty, so that's a really clean mesh. So we can go ahead and use group loops. And now we're going to start working on depth. There's a little wobble there, so I went ahead and moved it in to fix it. And now we can move on to the top of the head. This was one of the harder meshes to integrate, but not too hard. Just gonna go ahead and use clipping brushes again. Alright, so now that we have our new extracted one, we can just go ahead and clean it up. And the back of the head, I really like this area, even though it absolutely will not be seen. There's no possible way you could see this area. Unless, like, you are a more powerful feature space guy and you, like, took his head or something. But other than that, it's not going to be seen, but still a fun place to create. I just really like the shapes, I suppose. And so I'm just making all the meshes here. Just trying to make sure that I have everything covered. So we have no see-through areas, which is always important. Alright, now I'm just using the H polish brush. I haven't really needed to up until now, but this area has the mesh that I got, the polygons are a little bit, there's a tension area. It's probably because there is a pole that has maybe either three or more than 4 edges connected to it. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this back area right here. There we go. And I really like how that that back of his head, where the vertex of your head would be, like how it fits in there. I think it really works well there. Alright, so again, just plugging more holes. And I had to mask that side so I didn't... this clip that I just did right here would have completely messed up the other side, so... the easiest thing to do was to just hide that. And I'm trying to integrate this more to match the shapes a little bit better, so I went ahead and used just the regular standard brush to pull that out, and then the H-polish and the trim dynamic to just kind of smooth it out. All right, so I'm working a little bit on the under area of the mask where his eyes are, to help with the depth again. So I'm just using the H-polish brush on the edges just to clean them up a bit. I can use the clipping brushes eventually, but I didn't really, just wanted to try a new thing, I guess. Go in a different direction. Alright, so this is kind of the shape I have. So now I'm going to clip all that away. And I'm going to remesh it. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and smooth this guy out right here. And then as far as the head goes, that's a wrap. As far as the head goes and as far as making the regular head mesh goes, that's a wrap. And yeah, alright, looks good.